Did you know that many Australians who use negative gearing actually lose money for years and sometimes decades, hoping that their property will eventually go up enough in value to make it all worthwhile? Now, I've been coaching people around money for over 30 years, and I can tell you that negative gearing is one of the most misunderstood strategies in Australia. Many people talk about it as if it's free money from the tax office, but this simply isn't true. So in this video, we're going to have a look at what negative gearing actually is. We're going to have a look at how the tax benefits really work. We're going to have a look at the risks that many people just gloss over. And then we're going to look at whether or not negative gearing is a smart move for your situation. And if you would like a copy of my free negative gearing cheat sheet and calculator, then please check out the link in the description below. So let's quickly run through the agenda. We're going to have a look at what negative gearing means in plain English. We're then going to have a look at how the tax deductions actually work. We're going to look at the difference between negative gearing, positive gearing, and neutrally gearing. We're going to have a look at what the real risks are associated with negative gearing. And then we're going to look at who negative gearing might suit. So what is negative gearing? Negative gearing is where you buy an investment that costs you more to hold than you actually earn. So if we think about property for the purposes of this video, we buy a property and the costs associated with holding that property are more than what we're receiving in rent. So let's have a look at a really simple example of negative gearing. Let's just say that I own an investment property. That investment property is bringing in rent of $22,500 a year. I then have the interest on my mortgage, which is $24,000. I've got the rates, which are $2,500. We've got land tax, which is $1,800. We've got insurance of $1,900. We've got management fees of $1,350, and then we've got maintenance of approximately $2,000 a year. In total, all those costs add up to $33,550. So these are costs that as a property owner, I have to pay all of these, which means that before any tax benefits, I'm making a cash flow loss of $11,050. So let's have a look at how the tax would work in this scenario. So we've got Mike here. Mike doesn't own a property yet. His salary is $122,000. He doesn't have a property, so there's no rent and there's no costs. So his taxable income is $122,000, which means he's going to pay $29,828 in tax and Medicare, which means that his take-home salary would be $92,172. So let's have a look now at Mike when he's bought the property we were just talking about. He's got the property, his salary is still $122,000, but he now needs to add rent, the rental income, into his income. So he's got $22,500 in rent, which means that his total income is $144,500. But then we've also got all the tax deductions that come from the expenses associated with owning the property. So he's got the interest on the mortgage. He's got the rates. He's also, well, if he had a townhouse or a unit, he would also have body corporates, which he would add in here. He doesn't, so that's zero. We've got land tax, we've got maintenance, we've got insurance, we've got property agents' fees. And if the property was relatively new, Mike also might be able to claim depreciation, which is where you can claim the decreasing value of things like the carpet and the blinds and the curtains and those sort of things. Mike's property isn't new, so he doesn't get to do any of that. So his total cost here are $33,550, which means that his taxable income, so if we go $144,500 minus $33,550 means his taxable income is $110,950. So that means you can see that's lower than his 122. So his tax drops. So he now only has to pay tax of $26,292. So that's a tax saving there for Mike of $3,536. Tax saving, fantastic. He's getting money back. The tax office is chipping in to help him cover the cost of this property. But it's important to understand, if we have a look down here, that his take-home pay is now only $84,658, which means he's still he is $7,000, despite the tax deduction, he's $7,514 out of pocket. So this is how much he's losing. Even after tax deductions, this is how much it is costing him to hold on to this property. And this is what negative gearing is all about. It's when you've got a property that is costing you more to hold than it's bringing in rent, even after the tax deduction. Now you may be wondering at this point, well, why would I hold on to a property if it's costing me money every single month? Well, there is another side to the equation, and that is capital growth. Many people are happy to lose money every single month because they believe that property prices will rise over time. So if we look at this example of a $500,000 property, we put down a $100,000 deposit, so we've got a $400,000 loan. If this property experienced price rises of 7% per annum, after 3 years, it would be valued at $612,000, and after 5 years, it would be valued at $701,000. So what would happen is your equity has gone from the $100,000 deposit you put in to $301,000 over that 5 years, which is not a bad outcome. And when we look at the cash flow loss, so remember, our after-tax cash flow loss each year was around $7,500. If we times that by 5, that comes to $37,500. That means that our position overall is we're $163,000 in front. So I've taken the deposit out of that number. We're $163,000 in front, which is not a bad outcome. I do need to say this isn't factoring in the purchase or sale cost of the property. This is just purely the capital gain that we've experienced over that 5 years. Now, this can sound very attractive to many people, and it is. It's a great way to generate wealth. However, it is important that you understand the risk. The first risk is that your property may sit vacant. There might be a gap between when you have one tenant leave and you have another tenant arrive, and that will impact your cash flow. You won't have that rent coming in. Interest rates might rise. We're in an environment right now where interest rates are going up, and it's quite likely that the next 10 years will be inflationary and that we will see higher interest rates. Maintenance costs could blow out. There could be additional costs associated with a property that you hadn't anticipated. Tax rules could change. Right now, the federal government is debating whether or not they cut the capital gains tax discount, or whether they actually cut negative gearing altogether. So understand these things could affect your cash flow significantly. Property prices could slump. We've been in an environment for many years now where property prices haven't gone down, but please understand that they can go down, they do go down, and they will go down at some point in the future. And understand that your life circumstances could change as well. If you were to lose a job or need to take a lower paying job, or if you needed to take time off to care for a loved one, or perhaps you were injured or sick or something like that, please understand that your circumstances could change too. And at that point, having that cash flow drag, that drag on your cash flow could become a really big issue. So make sure you think about all of these things before you put yourself into a situation where you're negative gearing. So with that said, who would negative gearing suit? Well, firstly, you want to have a high and stable income so that you know that you've got the capacity to cope with that cash flow loss every single month. You want to make sure that you've got a long-term time frame, because with the purchase cost, with the sale cost, and the cash flow loss you're making along the way, you want to give the property plenty of time to grow in value so that the capital growth offsets all of those costs. You want to make sure that you've got strong cash reserves behind you just in case something comes up, just in case the maintenance expenses do blow out, or if for some reason you were to lose your job for a period of time, or you were unable to work for a period of time, you've got the cash flow to buffer against that. And lastly, you need to make sure you've got a solid financial foundation in place already. You don't want to have lots of other things pulling on your cash flow. You want to make sure that you have that cash flow covered easily. As I said, you got the reserves behind you. So should something happen out of the ordinary, should the property market slump and you need to hold it longer than expected, it doesn't matter. You've got the capacity to do that. And the one big rule that I give to all of my clients is never chase a tax deduction. Yes, I get it. You don't like paying tax, but never chase the tax deduction. Buy the investment because it's a good investment in its own right and is going to make you money, and then treat the tax deduction as a bonus. So let's finish up with a really quick summary. We had a look at what negative gearing is. So negative gearing is where we bought an investment that cost us more to hold than we're actually making in rent, and therefore it is cash flow negative. We had a look at how the tax deductions really work, and that it's not just free money from the government, it's just the government pitching in to help make our losses a little bit smaller. We had a look at where the upside comes from with the strategy. What's the point of losing money every single month? Well, the point is there is also expected capital upside. And hopefully what we would see is property prices rise over time, which means that the capital gain we're making more than offsets the cost of buying and selling the property and the costs of holding it. And then we looked at the real risks of negative gearing. I would encourage you to take these seriously before you get yourself into a negative gearing situation, because I've seen too many people come unstuck. And we also look at, well, who might negative gearing suit? Who is this appropriate for? Now, thank you so much for watching this video. I genuinely hope that it's been helpful and it's opened your eyes to how negative gearing really works. And if you would like a copy of my free negative gearing cheat sheet and calculator, then please check out the link in the description below. And please remember, it is the little habits and strategies that you put in place today that can literally make $1 million difference to your future. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.